Hello, let's talk about the 7-year cycles and how they actually impact where you are in your life and what is going on for you. Okay, so my name's Gail. I am an energy empowerment guide, which means I'm here to just kind of guide you through the energetics of your life. I lead an energetically led life, so I kind of go first and then I share what I am focused on, what I am learning, how I am bringing that about in my life. And I have literally in the last couple of days turned 49 years old. What is that about? And with that, I have moved into a new 7-year cycle. So I thought I would just come on and just share the details of all the different 7-year cycles so that you can maybe work out where you are and have a look and see if that is if the energy, if you're feeling that, if you're going through that right now. I find this so interesting, and it just seems to fit with when I look back over the last 7 years, the 7 years before that, it just seems to fit. So let's dig into it. Okay, so let's start with the first 7 years of our lives, the 0 to 7 years old. And the theme of that is absorption and safety. So we are literally like a sponge. We are soaking up all those unspoken rules of love and survival. So we are literally soaking up the energies, soaking up the understanding, soaking up all that kind of stuff. It is all about, this is where we actually kind of formulate our beliefs and our beliefs around safety, around belonging, around love, around surviving. So that is the first 0 to 7 years, and that's called the imprinting cycle. Okay. At 7 years old, we move into the conditioning cycle. Okay. And that is building an identity through others, through the conditioning of others. Okay, so this is where we really kind of lean into our kind of self-esteem, our individuality or not starts to build and grow and starts to filter through. And that is obviously influenced, this conditioning. So 0 to 7 is kind of belief formation. 7 to 14 is beliefs via conditioning. So, school is going to shape you. Your peers, your friends, your family are all going to shape you. And kind of like the social systems start to shape you as well, your understanding of what the world is. Maybe you're starting to kind of catch little snippets on the news and starting to understand them a little bit more, so you're starting to really kind of be shaped by conditioning of society and of those people around you. So for example, if between this age, your mum regularly says money doesn't grow on trees, that is going to be a condition that is going to shape you and shape the rest of your life. Okay, so I find those, it's just interesting, isn't it? It's just interesting to know. So the 14 to 21 cycle is the experimentation cycle. I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that, right? Those teenage years, those mid-teenage years, and the themes for those years is rebellion, it's expression, it's rebelling against what you've been told, it's testing those boundaries, it's expressing yourself how you want to express yourself, not how someone's told you should. It's all about testing the rules, it's all about starting to explore the world and how far you can push things and things like that, and just starting to gain that level of independence. Okay, your building cycle comes next. So that's usually the 21 to 28 years old, and this is when you're going to construct your outer life. Okay, so you have been a part of someone else's outer life, i.e. your parents, up until this point, really, roughly. I know it's not quite exact, but once you move into that 21 to 28 year cycle, you are really constructing that outer world for kind of like the rest of your life, I suppose. So you are, we're thinking about careers, we're thinking about relationships, maybe we're getting married, it's the whole adulting side of things that we're just bringing forward during this phase. Okay, you're building at the moment what you are conditioned to want, which is actually a really, really interesting point, because this is where the results of the previous cycles are coming through. So your imprinting cycle, you've been imprinted with beliefs. Your conditioning cycle, you've been conditioned by society, by others. Your experimental cycle, you've tested the boundaries, you've pushed here and pushed there and seen what felt right, what didn't feel right, what you got in trouble for, what you didn't, and now all that information's coming together and you're in a building cycle. So you're constructing the life that the previous cycles have kind of led you to want. Okay. Then at 28 to 35, we move into the awakening cycle. So we're starting to get a bit of a reality check. So, we've maybe got married, we've maybe got the mortgage, we're facing the bills, we're doing all the things, and all of a sudden it's like this reality check kind of kicks in, and it's like this vibe of, is this life? Is this it? Is this, we're getting this reality check. And what happens is anything that's unaligned to us, to our true authentic selves, starts to kind of crumble away a little bit. So that's 28 to 35. So 35 to 42 is the integration cycle. So this is where you're healing the difference between who you are and what you do. So when you look at this whole cycle, you've been given a load of beliefs, you've then been conditioned by society, you've pushed that a little bit, you've tested the boundaries, you've rebelled a bit, and then you've kind of, oh, that burnt me, that didn't feel right, I need to kind of, okay, so I know what I need to build. So then we've built the life that we've been led to want and to desire. And then once we've got that life, we're kind of in that reality check situation. It's like, oh, is this really what I wanted? Did I really want a white picket fence and a mortgage, or did I want to travel the world? And so we've hit that reality check. And then the 35 to 42 cycle is when we start to realign our values. We start to look at, actually, all these things that I've created and what I do for a job and all that kind of stuff. Is this really aligned to me? Is this really what I want? And we start to heal that split and that gap between the two. 42 to 49 is your liberation cycle. This is when you are back truly kind of like embodying, you're in soul embodiment. You're leaning back into authenticity. Who are you really? And you're allowing that to come through. You're reclaiming your voice. You're reclaiming your true desires. And you're releasing the expectations that others have on you, or your need for validation. So when you're in this 42, oh God, I can see this so much in myself, but when you're in that 42 to 49 era, this is the kind of like, hang on, all those beliefs that I absorbed between 0 to 7, I don't really believe them. Hang on, all that societal conditioning between 7 and 14, I'm going to release it. And it's bringing you back to you, to authentically you, to your authenticity, to your true voice, bringing you back to soul. 49 to 56 is the embodiment cycle. You're healing that. You're living your design now. You're living your true soul. You're living your energetic blueprint. You're living who you truly are. You're integrating your wisdom into legacy, into language, and into your environment. So if you have, let's take me for an example. If you are now living a job, a mortgage, the cars, all the stuff that, but actually your soul is saying you want to be on a beach somewhere, this is that kind of like that embodiment. You're going to start to see who you are in your soul come out into your environment. Okay. 59 to 63 is the legacy cycle. It's about sharing and mentoring. It's about transmission. It's about life being that full expression of yourself. So the embodiment cycle, your 49 to 56, is going to create that next step to life becoming the full expression of who you are. Okay. 63 to 70, the sage cycle. Wisdom through presence. You're not here to prove. You're not here to build. You are literally just here to radiate the energy of who you are and who you have become. There's no pressures. There's no nothing like that. Now, energetically, if we don't understand the underlying vibe of each of those 7 cycles, we can work against it. When we work against it, we create resistance. When we create resistance in our lives, we create, friction. We create inflammation. You know, if you just imagine like pushing up against something, it's hard work, it's effort, it's stress, it's anxiety, it's mental drainage, it's all of those kind of things, okay? So one of the reasons that I look into stuff like this is because I want to align to it. So I want to be in flow with what I am meant to be, who I am meant to be in this era. And I want to allow that energy through. So, when I am in my legacy cycle, my 59 to 63, life becoming that full expression of my soul and who I am in here, then I want to allow that. I don't want to be fighting against that. I don't want to be making that extra difficult for myself. I want to be bringing that through. So this is how I use this information. This is part of living the energetically led life that I do. It's about understanding the energy around us, the energy in the numerology, the energy in the cycles, the energy in the geometry of the universe and cosmic, the web and all that kind of jazz, and actually allowing that energy to filter through. So, I hope that helps. I wonder where you are in your life. As I say, I have just moved out of the liberation cycle, and my God, particularly this last 6 months has been kind of like, it's been a bit of a slog, really, kind of like getting through to this point. But, now that I'm in my embodiment cycle, this is about healing. It's about living. It's about healing myself inside and being like, do you know what? Yes, that I am in this place where I do have wisdom. I can turn this into legacy. I can talk about stuff now that I've been through. I can allow what is in here to come out into my environment, So yeah, just a little bit of interesting info that you can maybe use in your life to help you align to where you are. I'm kind of looking forward to the sage cycle now that I've kind of, I've known about these 7-year cycles, but I haven't actually sat and documented them. But yeah, that sage cycle feels like it's a good one. I'm looking forward to that one. Anyway, catch you later.